Hey everybody, it's Crystal Franco here for Moorhead Massage and Wellness, and we chose a pretty simple, not quite, but kind of topic for this month's Red Tent. We're just talking about menstrual products. Because Christine has lots and lots of births and things on her plate for this month. So we chose one that I can go alone. So here we are, our beautiful red tent space to talk about bleeding. Of course, it's been hush hush for so many years, and in the recent, decade or so, things have been coming up and out about women and menstruating, and we're not hiding in red tents and things. But that is the basis of the red tent, for women to come together and talk about all things women related, especially things that deal with our menses and our psyches and our bodies and everything that is specific to being a woman. So with menstrual products, there's so many out there, and I feel like so many people start out and you learn about the birds and the bees in your period, and it's like tampons and pads, and that's just what you're shown, and that's how it goes. But now in recent years, everybody, especially in the natural world, has started doing different things. And there are people who've been doing these things for eons, like cloth pads and things have been around for forever. However, my little one's still walking all around here. However, there's been a new push to get back to those types of things. For environmental purposes and for our body health. You want to climb under the table? One of the things that has been shown to show up in the mainstream products are a lot of different chemicals. And when you think about putting pads and tampons directly on our vulva and up inside our vagina, you're getting really close to your bloodstream. Your bloodstream flow and everything is right there. And so it's different than when you're even eating chemicals and they're going through your digestive processes. So putting chemicals inside and everything just isn't that great. It can have endocrine disruptors messing with our endocrine system, which messes with our hormones, which messes with our mood, which messes with all kinds of things, right? And then you have things that are carcinogens and all of that. So there's a big push these days to label medical products, because tampons and those things are considered medical products, and the FDA doesn't require that they label their ingredients. So some of their websites do show their ingredients, but it's not so much on their packaging. So I mostly just wanted to talk about some of the alternatives in case you don't know about them. And these are some of the things, with 3 girls over here, this is one of the 3 that I have, as we embrace all of this womanhood and things. I'm going to be teaching them these different things about their menses and how to do it. So of course, we go to the simple cloth pads, and I'm just going to show you a couple. These are some pads, and then these are just like little panty liners. They're really simple. You rinse them out, you change them just like you would a disposable one. You take it out, rinse it out, and then you wash it in cool water, and it's pretty simple. It might take some getting used to, and sometimes people don't think about the fact that they still have to change them the same way you do a disposable, or sometimes more often, which could be a turnoff to somebody, because you want to make sure it doesn't get dirty and sticky and yucky, because then it doesn't feel good either. Something that a lot of people, there's been a lot of awareness around Thinx underwear, and so their period underwear. I just brought 2 different styles. I don't remember which ones they are. You'd have to look. But these are underwear that you don't need to wear any sort of other barrier with them. Or you could use something like a cup with them, and then they're like your extra panty liner type of a deal. And this is just a cup. This one I think is called a Moon Keeper. There's so many on the market, so it takes a little bit of playing around to figure out what's going to work for your body and which one you like. So some of the downsides or the upsides, we'll talk about both, to the cup are one, it's super eco-friendly. It's made of silicone, and so it doesn't have any sort of toxic plastics or anything like that. Um, it's medical grade silicone. Is that owl? Did you get an owl? It's hot, yes. And so you just insert that inside, and it's going to collect the blood, and then you empty that out and you rinse it out. You do have to make sure, is it still hot? You do have to make sure that you boil it before every cycle, before and after. But definitely before your cycle to decrease any sort of toxic shock syndrome, kind of like tampons. You also have to be mindful that you're not wearing it for over 12 hours, similar to like a tampon. I think a tampon's more like 8 hours. Is that owies? Stop touching it, huh? Yeah, you're silly. So the first however many years they were out, they weren't linked with toxic shock at all. So as more people have been using them, then more things have happened, and so people have noticed, yes, you still have to make sure you're taking it out regularly. The camera might move on you guys here, sorry. Ah. Let's see, I don't know if that's where we want to be. We'll check it out, you guys tell me, huh? So as you know, more people have been using them. We're learning, no, you don't want to keep that inside for a bajillion hours at a time. You want to make sure that you're disinfecting it. Something that I've been really intrigued with helping is homeless women. One of the things that we've wanted to do here is like try to push for getting cups to a lot of the homeless women, because it's something that you can use on the streets and being able to just make sure that you learn proper hygiene for it, because that's one of the challenges that women who are on the streets have, is dealing with their menses. Thinks underwear, I know that they've donated in the past to different situations, whether it's that type of situation or to, I think it's to underdeveloped countries. But they're a fabulous company as well. And of course, there could be other ones out there that I'm not even mentioning. These are just the ones I'm familiar with. So I'm not trying to ignore anybody's company. Another recent thing I found, I want to pull it up here so that I say it properly. I think it's soft cups, soft disc, and flex discs. So those are an interesting thing that you wear inside as well. And it's a little disc, and it's but it's made of plastic and it's disposable. So then you have the environmental side of putting more plastic, and or even having plastic up inside of your vagina. So, you know, we've got to kind of learn more about it. But so far in their early research here, they're not being linked to toxic shock syndrome either. And because they go farther inside, where like, if you can still see it through here, this has this little pole that stays sticking outside of your vaginal canal. The soft disc goes up inside all the way, right around your cervix, to collect the blood, and therefore people are able to have sex with them inserted as well. So that can be a solution for that. And they're disposable, so somebody who still is wanting that disposable feature might want to go that way. But there's a lot out there, so it's just something to like consider and look at. Another thing with the cup that has recently come to my awareness is our pelvic floor health. So some women, if it's not resting in there easily and softly, they're clenching their pelvic floor more to hold it inside, and it's creating more tension on the pelvic floor, which then creates ultimately weakness of the pelvic floor and can lead to things like prolapse and pelvic floor dysfunction. So it's another thing to be mindful of. The force of pulling it out can sometimes pull on those tissues as well. So it's another thing to be mindful of if you're making a decision to try out a cup. And so I'm not sure like how the soft discs feel in comparison to that. And again, you know, then you have to weigh out like silicone versus plastic and how you feel about each of those things. Completely reusable versus disposable. and that. So, and then the underwear, just a couple more thoughts on that. These you rinse out and wash kind of like you would like the cloth pads. So for me, I'm kind of a combination person. So I like to kind of navigate all the things. I'll still go for like an organic tampon or something like that when I've been swimming in the ocean, even though it's not even, it's kind of like a myth about attracting the sharks. So, yeah, that might be a whole nother topic. Let me see if there's anything else. Just thinking about, just do your research, you know, thinking about the chemicals that are in mainstream tampons versus getting like the organic tampons or the pads. I gotta say too, one of the first things of this that was ever brought to my awareness was when I was 19, and I first saw a midwife for my well woman visits, and the midwife said to me how she knows when she does her annual exams on women, she always knows who uses the Always brand of pads because they all had this red, like rash almost, because of whatever chemicals and things were responding with people's skin. She would always say, "You use Always, don't you?" to her clients. And that awareness was the first thing that piqued my interest in all of this when I was 19. So I hope that helps any of you out there kind of exploring some of this. And of course, if you have any questions, especially if you're local, you can come on and chat with me, or Christine, who wasn't able to be here with us because she's got a couple other things going on. But she, as a midwife, has different information too and is a wealth of knowledge. So especially if you're local and you have questions, you can come in and chat with us. You can shoot us an email. Our website's moorheadmassage.com. And if you liked this live stream, you can subscribe. We go live with our new moon stuff, different topics, women's health every month. Bye.